When the association behind the stick tests uncovers a cheating scandal, a group of students is summoned to testify about their impressive grades. The first is Lynn, the top student in her class and a winner of numerous math competitions. Her mother left years ago after the divorce, leaving just her and her father, who earns a modest teacher's salary. Her story begins when her father attempts to enroll her in a prestigious school, despite her reluctance, as the enrollment fees and other expenses are too costly. She doesn't want to burden him. Lynn quickly calculates the expenses in her head, impressing the principal, who grants her a scholarship, which she gladly accepts. While taking photos for her ID, she meets Grace, a rich and friendly girl more interested in acting than studying, who doesn't mind Lynn being an awkward nerd. They immediately click and become close friends. Grace's grades have been average until the school implements a new rule. The general GPA must be at least 3.2. Afraid of failing and disappointing her parents, Grace asks Lynn to tutor her. After some hesitation, Lynn agrees. On exam day, Lynn reassures her that the exercises are familiar, but Grace is still lost. Lynn finishes her test with ease but worries about Grace. If she fails, Lynn will lose her first real friend. She decides to help, writing the correct answers on an eraser, slipping it into her shoe, and kicking it to Grace. Grace returns her shoe, but she kicks too hard, and it lands in the middle of the classroom. Fortunately, Lynn quickly steps on it as she hands in her test. Grace uses the eraser and passes with a 3.87 GPA. To celebrate, Grace invites Lynn to her pool, where they meet Grace's wealthy boyfriend, Pat. Grace shares their test trick, and Pat sees an opportunity. He offers Lynn a large sum to help him and his friends cheat in all their exams. Initially, Lynn refuses, saying she doesn't need the money, but Pat reveals that even with a scholarship, her father still pays admin fees. At home, Lynn finds paperwork confirming Pat's claim her father is struggling to pay with his small salary, making her cry. While practicing piano, she asks why he enrolled her in the fancy school. He explains he wants her to have better opportunities, maybe even study abroad, dismissing her protests that she was happier at her old school. That night, as she plays the piano, she realizes her fingers could be used for signaling. The next day, she accepts the job and teaches the group their new method. Since the test is multiple choice, she assigns each letter a hand pattern for students to memorize. This allows them to disguise their practice as piano lessons, keeping their earnings legal and providing an alibi for future investigations. From then on, they cheat on every exam, and the method works. Lynn subtly moves her hand, while the others watch and copy. Teachers suspect nothing, and everyone passes. Business booms, with more students paying for answers daily. Lynn uses the money to support her home and buys her father a nice shirt. Though many now have good grades, Lynn remains the best, followed by Bank, a true genius unaware of the scheme. Like Lynn, he's in school on a scholarship, and his mother struggles to pay admin fees with her laundromat job. He has an exceptional memory, quickly reciting pi, but has zero tolerance for cheating. Lynn and Bank aren't exactly friends, but they win math competitions together and respect each other. After claiming first place in Teen Genius, the principal informs them of a scholarship abroad. However, there's only one slot, making them rivals. Bank is anxious, but when he finds his mother washing clothes by hand due to a broken machine, he prioritizes helping her over studying. One day, classmate Tong offers to pay Bank for test help. Struggling with the piano code, Bank refuses, unwilling to take dirty money. During the exam, Lynn continues signaling, but Tong, unfamiliar with the codes, peeks at her paper, suspecting cheating. Bank watches him closely. When Bank finishes, he pretends to trip near Lynn's desk, showing her a note exposing Tong. Lynn acts grateful, and Bank reports Tong to the teacher. However, the teacher ignores him, as the test has separate versions, making cheating impossible. Realizing this, Lynn's group panics but quickly organizes. Lynn first signals the answers for her version, allowing those with the same test to submit. While they distract the teacher, she swaps her paper with Tong, who has the other version. She then rushes to complete the new test and signals those answers, finishing just before time runs out. Afterward, Lin and Tong are called to the principal's office due to Bank's report. They deny cheating, but when checked, their papers are mixed up. Lin's father is summoned, and the principal decides she won't be expelled, but she will lose her scholarship. Outraged, Lin calls out the principal, pointing out that making her father pay admin fees despite her scholarship is also cheating. Furious, the principal revokes her chance for an international university scholarship, leaving Bank without a competitor. However, Bank feels guilty, believing he won unfairly. At home, Lin's father, disappointed, refuses to wear the shirts she bought him. Meanwhile, Grace has dinner with Pat's family, who believe he's improved in school thanks to her. They offer to fund her and Pat's stick exam so they can attend Boston University together. Desperate, Grace begs Lin for help. Initially, Lin refuses, but Grace appeals to their friendship and offers a higher payment. Lin agrees but, while reviewing the test rules, sees no way to cheat. She begins writing an apology note but overhears a man discussing time zones and notices clocks from different countries. This gives her an idea. The next day, she presents her plan. Since the stick is identical worldwide, she'll take it in Australia, 4 hours earlier, then send the answers to Thailand. Grace and Pat's job will be to recruit clients to fund expenses. This way, Lin can also attend Boston University. However, she'll only have minutes to memorize answers, meaning she can only recall half. The only person capable of memorizing the rest is Bank, but they know better than to ask him. The night before the scholarship test, Bank is delivering laundry on his scooter when two thugs attack him, accusing him of scratching their car. They beat him up and dump his unconscious body in a landfill. He wakes up devastated, realizing he missed the exam. At school, Lin hears and visits him, offering payment if he joins. Bank refuses until Lin convinces him that the system cheats poor students like them, so it's only fair to cheat back. With memory covered, they finalize their heist. Lin and Bank will take the test in Australia, hiding phones in the bathrooms to send answers during breaks. The final section has no break, so they'll feign illness. Grace and Pat will print answers on barcode stickers placed on pencils, which will be delivered to clients before their flights. Pat secures more clients through a Steve Jobs-like presentation, earning millions. Grace fabricates paperwork, and Lin convinces her dad to sign, claiming it's for an Australian Teen Genius event, allowing her to fly alone. The duo trains by completing practice tests and texting answers from restrooms. The day before, they rehearse fake alibis and tearful excuses if caught. When Pat's turn comes, he mocks Bank, calling him a loser who woke up in a landfill. Enraged, Bank attacks him but is held back by the girls. Realizing Pat hired the thugs to stop him from taking the test, Bank quits. However, after seeing a laundromat ad, he reconsiders his future. Meanwhile, Lin, disgusted by Pat's actions, also quits. Grace pleads, saying she values their friendship. Later, Lin finds Bank, who rejoins, demanding compensation for his suffering. He convinces Lin to take responsibility. They fly to Sydney, awkwardly silent but reconciling upon arrival. During the test, they hide phones in toilets and quickly complete the first section. During the break, they text answers. Before sending his, Bank demands more money, and Pat begrudgingly agrees. The second break brings trouble. Bank panics under suspicion, breaking a toilet lid and failing to flush the phone, leading to his capture. Lin barely avoids getting caught but later discovers Bank missing. Realizing she must finish alone, she memorizes answers like a music sheet. She feigns illness, escapes, and texts the final answers while being chased. A collision nearly ruins everything, but she presses send in time. The officers catch her, but she hides the phone. Back in Thailand, her father, suspicious, arrives at Pat's house. They lie about a vacation, and he leaves. Meanwhile, Bank sacrifices himself to cover for everyone. Feeling guilty, Lin confesses everything to her father, leading to expulsion. She later applies to a local university, but the officer reminds her that teachers must have good morals. making Lynn